Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. After a long period of inactivity on my main YouTube channel, I finally got up a video again. And so today I will rate all important and unimportant glitch and tricks as well as skips in Cry of Fear, depending on the fun, how hard they are and what they have to offer. This will be based on the speedrunning aspect of the game. And for this I have also created a quick tier list which you can also use at any time. Link to it is in the video description. Fun fact, the tier list has 46 images because of my name Hutch46. Since the skips are all sorted chronologically to a speedrun, we will also start directly with the first skip, which is first scaffold skip. It really sucks, but gives you a few seconds time save. There are several ways to do it. Some go over the second pole and jump onto the plate, some dodge jump to the plate, me included, and some just do, well... yeah, what the fuck. It's easy to mess up. C tier. Apartment skip. It is super useful and automatically saves you 2 minutes out of the game, but it's quite hard the faster you do it.
Nein! Was war ich denn?
So I would say it gets in fair A tier because it's a major skip with you doing less for receiving more in the end. NTXN method. There are two ways to lure Granny out of her hidey hole. NTXN's method involves doing a dodge jump, ducking as you jump, and then waiting for Granny to dash towards you. Works almost every time, and is also a very nice approach to get around Granny. B tier. Other methods. Other methods are simply either slower or riskier, so I would stick with the NTXN method because it is safer. Nothing more to say. C tier. TV skip. Incredibly useful. Just like the apartment skip, this is just such absolutely awesome skip to do. With this skip, you not only learn to save 2 minutes, but also teach an old lady how to put a DVD into a DVD player to watch a few movies on.
Hello everyone, this is Rigi, and today in my wonderful head came up with the idea to make a tier list speedrunners of Cry of Fear for the last year and a half. So let's start with the first person under the name Dvatch. With this person I met about 7 months ago.
1 hour later.
But the grandma you'll help isn't the only great thing that you'll do in the speedrun though. I'll come back to it later. Even if it doesn't happen to me anymore, it can be difficult at the beginning to have the exact strategy to make the TV skip consistently. But to show an old lady how to put the DVD in just takes a lot of patience. Definitely deserved S tier for the function as a role model and what you get with it. Old grannies are always generous, even when it comes to time saves. 5247. Typing this code in the numpad is literally one of the easiest tricks to do to save another fraction of the game. Instead of calling, you can just directly enter the code and off you go. But it is difficult to do it quickly, and sometimes it happens that you don't get it right and then you have to type in the code again and possibly even suffer damage from it. Solid A tier. 279X. Okay. I think I speak for everyone in the speedrun community when I say this is one of the most annoying parts of the speedrun. Every time you type in the damn 279 code, you just have to be lucky to go ahead. This code might be easy if you enter it very focused and rather slowly because of it having only 9 possible end results, but that's super annoying when you just want to go davai super fast speed mode and then the number you pressed is the last one out of the 9 possible ones. But well, it's the skip we need in the speedrun to be faster at all, so excluding it isn't a real option here. I've even looked to see if any of the codes you're giving at the start or the lamps have anything to do with it. That's why I bring this skip to B. I'm quite confident that there will be some good optimizations in the near future regarding this triangular shaped Harry Potter numpad. Hopping in the channel. B-hopping in this channel is a nice thing in itself, because it also saves some time, but it's just mega risky and also difficult, because if you jump wrong with the scroll wheel just once, then you're as good as fucked. I placed this one on C, because it's more like a kind of cool flex to show what a sick juggler you are. Mace first variation. Jumping on the valve in a valve game? Hallelujah, that's something to have in a quick run. From there you can actually skip the door safely in the cutscene and not only have a good transition that gives you 2 to 3 extra seconds, but also a place where you can stand a little safer and don't have to worry about getting a shock in the water like you would if you stole a piece of chewing gum from a fake chewing gum pack. Okay bro, what the fuck, that was way too fucking fast. That's why this variant comes on A. Mace second variation. The second variation is a bit more risky, but it's really exciting to watch when you look at one of the many runs the game has to offer. To see how, for example, Joa or Rigi just do that and Mace comes closer and you think, oh fuck, now he's going to be banged away to Tajikistan with this morning star. Well, yeah, the skip is of course more difficult, but like the others, it's also faster. I wouldn't necessarily recommend to learn it for beginners, but if you want to catch everyone's attention, then it's perfect for you. A tier. Getting the saw. Even getting the saw in Cry of Fear has a different outcome depending on how you do it.
Is the run okay so far, Joe?
Alright, Sigma, go!
Getting the saw without moving is clearly easier than moving, but that's not all that has significance in this skip. You don't spawn enemies and successfully manage to be faster by doing less. A. For achieving so much, for doing so little. Inventory use. If you have successfully grabbed the saw and then want to cut off a bit of the, let's say, cake, then you can do this by using the inventory use bind and eat a piece of cake after you have skipped the cutscene, where you usually should wait for a time. To put it simply, using the key after you've skipped the door, like Mace in the first variant, is quite useful to avoid having to go into the inventory again, but it's quite difficult to get all the inputs right, at least in this passage. I give the command inventory use an A tier, but the cutscene skip and all the input combinations a B tier, because it's so easy to screw up at beginning runs.
Oh my god! DRSM skip. Oh my god, what? This skip is named after yours truly, as I found it. Which means it's the best skip in the entire game. Nah, fuck it. Anyway, you need to have the FPS keybinds for this to make it work, with a pretty tight timing to basically glitch through time and space to get through the wall. Sadly, my skip has some risk behind it, including getting completely softlock when you fail the timing. But it gets consistent and does save a bit of time. I don't know what Henry will decide, but this is an easy double S tier.
Oh, chill, we don't even got double S on the tier list. Well, but thanks for your contribution, Dr. Small. I would still give it an S tier, and it's one of my most favorite skips in the game. Totally unbiased because of what you have said right now, and being the second best German speedrunner in this game. Developer 1 and FPS max 500. Another comment, it allows you to make Sawrunner rotate much slower and you get a weapon from their chamber. This skip is also actually only useful in the no unlockables category, because either way, you always run away from the Sawrunner or never run around him like in no unlocks. I asked Guru as well as Joa and both said that this keybind combo is very good and really much easier than if you do it with the standard 99 FPS we play with. I've never played no unlocks myself, but would put it on the B tier. B-hopping in chase. B-hopping during the chase sequence is definitely faster, but it's a bit of a challenge, because if you mess up your movement just once, you're screwed and have to make up for lost speed. Making the whole thing fast has a lot to do with movement, so it's important to keep practicing it. It's fun as long as you don't mess up, so it's up to B tier. Horse skip. I just casually say horse skip, but it's actually called park skip. Okay, but whatever you call it, the skip is such a fucking S tier. Dude, I really can't say enough how absolutely awesome I think this skip is. Just the fact that you jump over a freaking horse to continue your way out of bounds and then jump onto a pallet, then go to the right to continue chilling out of bounds, and then get pulled up by the door is just so awesome. And that every time, over and over. This skip is essential for the speedrun, because doing it without slows the run down immensely. The skip is quite difficult though, and takes a lot of practice. And it takes a lot of practice as well, especially with the mechanic. Like there are more ways to do this skip than DRSM has fucking YouTube videos online. Fast call.
Lieben Hater, ich würde euch eins mal empfehlen.
Also a really interesting skip, where people will probably wonder if we took a few too many injections to find out. The skip is fun according to Guru, a top 7 speedrunner. I've never tried it myself, but it looks very unique and I'll definitely be using in sooner runs as well. It gives you about 10 seconds more time. You can definitely get the shovel faster and get beaten down to 50 HP, which is already a good trait to call the ambulance for A tier. Roof skip. Easier method. To be honest, I think that this skip, even if it is the seemingly easier variant to get to the roof, is even riskier than the other version that comes next. You have a really narrow gap where you have to time a good jump. There are many ways to do this, and they also get to be of good use. You skip quite a lot of time with it, so I wouldn't say it's bad. But I would say it's in B tier, because you can't always do it easily and consistently. And even if the harder version of the roof skip is not always easy to do, you can do it very well after some intense practice. Many of the reasons why a good roof skip fails are wrong inputs at the wrong time or lags in game. This skip is really a lot of fun, and it's always a great feeling when you finally get it right in one run.
Oh! Oh! What?
Let's go.
That's insane, bro.
It's just so fucking creative to fly up the ramp.
Yeah, first try.
When I first studied the skip, I couldn't do it the first 100 times. But after that I went up more and more, and now I can actually do it more or less consistently. I always learned the skip even when I was calling with someone. I've spent hours just on the skip, so for me it's not an A tier, but instead a clear S tier. B-hopping to the card. A passage in the run where even pro runners fail. It's not as easy as it seems to keep your speed in a great range. There are always these stupid hitboxes that simply cancel your B-hops and prevent you from staying in a good time. That's why others in the community have developed strategies to get over them. They are less risky than B-hopping all the way through, but also slower. It's fun to B-hop, but not really here. If you still make it though, it's a great ass feeling when you're speeding ultra fast through the front yard of the house.
Joa wäre neidisch.
B tier. Slower scaffold. Before you get to the second scaffold in the game, it's still important to move fast. You simply B-hop along the water next to the car, and just before you reach the first edges and support points of the scaffold, you take a syringe and stop B-hopping. Doing that will guarantee you a much more higher amount of stamina to do the second scaffold. You can also take the syringe before the car. Therefore A, because it is already very useful and you can vary depending on your skill. Fast scaffold. The faster version to get to the scaffold. This is a bit more difficult because you B-hop all the way through. It's difficult to master, but if your movement is right, you can go for it and make it to the container. It will also reduce your amount of stamina you have doing the following skip, so try finding one of the ways that fits you best. Another A tier. Okay. Oh man, I'm getting sick of this one. Second scaffold skip. Well, okay. This skip is pretty useful. It's interesting, it saves you a lot of time when running, But there's one thing I haven't mentioned yet. Unfortunately, it is absolutely no fun. Okay. Really, every time I try to do this skip, it's always just so fucking random what happens next. I just hope for my luck at that point. There are exactly 4 things that suck about this skip. Getting onto the lamp first is simply exhausting. I always fall off just before because the timing is so tight by jumping and then crouching. If you're really on the lamp and haven't fallen off beforehand through black magic or something, you have to position yourself. This always works half of the runs well, cause you have a strange spike hitbox on the lamp. You can't be too far to the left because of the wall, and not too far to the right. Third point, you'll fall off at the front if you dodge, so you should dodge in the middle to get through this tricky scaffolding as soon as possible. If you dodge too far at the back, you'll hit the plate at the top of the railing, which will cost you some time, but it still works. And fourth point, and the most annoying part of it, the last thing you have to do is stand on this plank and just hope that you can do a good dodge jump. Because you can easily fall off the scaffolding very quickly.
Reset.
This skip is really essential for all speedruns, but really few people find it really nice, because you just never know what happens next and if your run gets rigged by it. Trashy D tier. Okay, pipe skip. The pipe skip appears later in the game. It's extremely risky. If you don't get onto the other pipe, you'll have to pay with your life and often with your entire run. However, the better you are, the more familiar you are with the movement, and the easier it is. Poor C tier though, you can also just use all the pipes on the side and be a little slower. B-hopping between the trains. It's not that difficult to B-hop, but on this tight grade your skills will be put on the test again. It's quite possible that you'll get hit by the train on the right and then get hit by the approaching train at the left. A bit risky, but I haven't had anything like that happen to me for a long time. So C tier. B-hop abuse before ladder placement. A very useful skip that you can use to cuddle up to your favorite ladder faster. Yeah, the principle is the same as with the methods just mentioned to get to the scaffold, but here you have much more space and it's much easier not to mess up. It's nothing special, but it's pretty useful. I would highly recommend it to anyone who hasn't tried it out yet. B tier. Bob the Builder. Have you always wanted to have an opponent build a ladder for you? It's possible in this game. Not only does it save you around 40 seconds, but you can also help other opponents to discover their inner Bob the Builder. After that, they are always happy and so you won't see them backtracking. However, it takes a few attempts to lure the opponents into the right position to work, as they're not keen when you're standing right in front of the ladder, or they simply want to cuddle you too much and don't have the ladder in front of them. A nice task to give work to the opponents who are actually harming you. S tier. Water glitch. Okay bro, instant S tier. It's easy, overpowered, funny and unbelievable. I don't need to go into what a literal game changer this is. Even fans of Cry of Fear at Gamescom find it hard to believe how much impact this glitch actually has. Bro, it's B-hopping unlimited! Yeah! Dr. Talking. It's more like a nice hint. Standing here in front of the trigger just does so much and doesn't have a single disadvantage. I always remember it by the 2 pillars on the edge and by the thick poop strip on the side. A tier, just for the poop strips. Second fuse B-hop backtracking. This is more a part of the run rather than a real glitch or trick, but still needs a lot of practice. Going for the second fuse and going back again is the perfect place to practice movement. Unfortunately, this passage of the game can still give you a major part of frame drops, which leads you to b-hops getting cancelled and getting slower runs. So I recommend taking a quick look at the video I made to be able to fix most of this. These passages are also all quite short, but movement is the only real thing there. B tier, because of the lags. Getting the hammer, simply the best thing you can do again. With your ultra long tentacle arms, you simply get the hammer through the pole in front of you, which you can literally run against and be stopped without touching the trigger that spawns an enemy. Simply go to the pole, hug it, press E and say goodbye to the pole. The run is made a little easier again and you're rewarded for speedrunning.
Sigma malfunction.
Grade A tier. Nightmare skip. Oh boy. This is perhaps the best known skill-based skip amongst speedrunners. It saves you a lot of time compared to the normal route, and it is quite versatile and can also be used depending on your skill level. The structure and the limitation of your position don't exactly allow you the easiest passage though, and it's one of the most difficult parts in the game. That's why it belongs to the B tier. You can easily fall down anywhere and stand on your feet all wobbly and shaky. But to make sure you don't get too cold of fear, yeah, I'll turn on the heating for you. Oh shit! I didn't want to turn the heat up to 500 degrees, but when we're in real fucking hot temperatures, hell is the closest thing to it when you think of fast Mace. Everything is full of flaming red blood and you have to manage getting through the maze with these sandbags hanging from the ceiling that want to give you a box fight like that one in Wii Sports where you fight against Matt. Bro, what the fuck did I actually put in my script? Well, but to get back on topic, Fast Maze is simply the maze, but in ultra fast. It's top 2 hardest skips in Cryo-Fear speedrunning for a reason. You really have to get an almost perfect movement and practice a lot to get it right. It took me 2 to 3 hours of practicing to get it the first time, but I have never managed it in my runs. Or at least that's what I thought until this happened. So, Maze skip. Yeah, this skip is a real flex. With that you can just show off how a fucking crazy cat you actually are.
Yes.
Absolute deserved S tier. Very few people manage this skip. Okay. But to calm you down and give you a slight more pleasant temperature again, here's another little breathing space because it's about to get really intense again. But for now, host frame rate 0.1. A comment that allows you to stay in the flow of the run. For some, it's a real blessing because they're playing so incredibly hard and can't wait. For others, it's more of a nice side effect. You can treat yourself a short break on the train, especially if you did fast maze. What the fuck happened? What the fuck actually happened? You lose a funny amount of 30 milliseconds of time if you want to relax a bit. But yeah, I think that's usually worth for the people. Stable C tier. Train skip. Another totally unusual and funny skip. When I saw the skip for the first time, I just thought to myself how the hell this even works. And why you move with the train's speed and suddenly become Usain Bolt. It's just fun because there are no disadvantages to doing this skip. And it's always very cool to be out of bounds. You can sometimes get into a bit of trouble with one of the workers here, But otherwise he never really wants to fight with you because you helped his colleagues from the ladder glitch to build the ladder. S tier, because it's so absolutely awesome and looks amazing. Cutscene skip on the train section. Oh damn. This skip makes a bit of a difference, but it all depends on whether you can get off the train quickly. As Joe, a former world record holder, told me, you have to be careful that the cutscene doesn't play when you load into the next map. This can cause a bug in the game and your run is ruined. That's why I would leave this glitch only to the pros. I don't do it myself, but it definitely looks funky if you don't see the cutscene of the train falling down. B tier. Scissors skip. And now I'll show you one last time how helpful we are and want to teach the opponents from Cryofear something. Previously we successfully managed to put a DVD into a DVD player for an old lady, build a pretty ladder for otherwise lonely worker with a hammer, and now we're teaching a dejected woman how to use scissors properly. Very inspiring of us to show so many lost souls their true talent. The skip is the hardest of them three though. As with the other enemies, you have to either stand behind an object or between one and jump to show them how to discover their inner talent. Here you don't have a predetermined corner to stand in, and it's difficult as sometimes more than one woman will come, and it can cause you to get a little crowded or even get stuck there. The skip is the last of a wonderful series. Nice signs to be helpful in the game, the community appreciates that very much. As thanks for the help, another S tier. If you remember a part of the game that broke you during your first playthrough, it's probably this one. Its name is Doors, and this section is the most difficult part in any playthrough. You risk your life and the nearest possible tape recorder to save is in the forest right before Doors, which is about more than 45 seconds away if you died at Doors. Doors pretty much determines any run. Waiting before any door is clearly the safest method, but also the slowest. What if you are doing this part of the game not only faster, but also much riskier? And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fast Doors.
The doors you can get. Holy fucking shit. 15 seconds.
And I didn't even do doors in the previous round. The doors.
Fast Doors shares the top 2 skips and strategies in the run with Fast Mace, two brothers who are inseparable. Doors is the hardest passage with Mace, even outside the speedrun. Not only do they share the same word stem with Fast, but both have extremely tight cycles where you can easily die if you take the risk. I personally think Doors to be the harder brother, as in Mace you normally only risk your life on one dude, but here it's trapdoors that can stop your channel b-hops, and 7 doors where you can die from very easily. It's absolutely amazing when you can do the bad brothers of Cryofear both in one run. Everything has to be done so precise, even the smallest mistake can make the difference. S tier, no doubt. Inventory drop. A very useful comment which has only positive effects on the run. The pistol you drop is very powerful and saves another second later at the doctor fight. Nothing else to say here. A tier. Plate signs. Gang signs at the window in Cryofear. Yeah, we got them via the plate. You have 3 different Roman numerals. 1, 6 and 9. Bro, why is it always 6, 9? Oh my god. They all generate a different code, but the beginning is the same with 5117. The last 4 numbers can be learned easily by using the memory method of building a story like 7, 8, 16 cheeseburgers. or using it as a pattern recognition and seeing something like an inverse L. Typing in the code is mostly the same as the other codes, but the numpad is much smaller and you could lose some time if the code is wrong, where you need to wait before entering the code again, so this one gets a B tier. Because same as the numpad from the sewer, this may happen to have some deeper connections and may also be predictable from events prior. FOV multiplier. Another nice bind to use in the run. But honestly, looking through the telescope is just much cooler.
Komischer Afrikaner mit seinen Dreadlocks hier.
Nothing more to say, B tier. Joel skip. Absolute banger. A really nice little skip, and even if you mess it up, you don't lose an abysmal amount of time.
But what if I told you that this is the catalyst for the leg skip?
A tier. Water shader off. Not many people turn off their water shader, and honestly it would be so much better. When entering the boat, you can just make your game a slight bit more faster because of frame drops for no cost. C tier, because it's nothing game breaking but worth mentioning. B-hopping in F-sewer. Another movement optimization that saves you a lot of time in F-sewer. Definitely very useful for practicing, but nothing too special. B tier, because it can save you a lot of time and provides you with important tools you need for your b-hopping experience. Like for example taking the syringe while you're hitting the ground via bunny hopping. But it's not only important in the F-sewer part of the run. In Kirkwall, right before the final fight with Book Simon, your movement with bunny hopping, taking syringes while bunny hopping, and your air strafing skills will be put to the ultimate test of speed. It's easy to learn if you can b-hop, of course it takes time, but it will save you some good seconds. A tier. Wow, such a great tier list. But there's still one piece of the puzzle missing for it to be 46. Yeah, right. Usage of FPS max in the wheelchair. The lower the FPS to 10, the faster you can move forward in the wheelchair. We usually do it with 10 or 20 FPS. It's quite fun to quickly change your FPS and then go back to 99 so that you can deal more damage to Book Simon with the weapon. But you should bind all this to the keyboard and use it cleverly. The variant of going for a walk with Jürgen.
Und Sub 50 fucking 2, Alter. Wir gehen mit dem Jürgen spazieren.
AKA the wheelchair, is really challenging and also requires some skill. A nice last trick to complete a speedrun of a famous great horror game. S tier. That was a really nice thing to go through here with you. You can really see how much every single part of the game makes a difference when it comes to skips, exploits, glitches and tricks. All found by the community that made everything possible. I just told you and gave my opinion about. Many people can now enjoy what others have found and use to scrape even more seconds out of their run. We've seen how we've been able to be an angel for some opponents. We've seen who the two bad brothers are and so much more. Oh my god, it was definitely just more than just a wild experience to rank all these tricks, skips, glitches, etc. and tell their story. Thanks to everyone who watched the video to the very end. I just spent 6 hours plus 3 hours of recording fully focused on this script to get a banger out. Feel free to comment your opinion on the video. I will read every single one and leave at least one heart. I am very happy to have grown up in the speedrunning community. The community, as well as the skips and the principle of speedrunning, just means so much to me. And with that, good night everyone, and see you next time. Please saves you 2 minutes out of... Oh my god, mein fucking Handy. Was ist dein Lieblings-Pokémon? Ja, Digga, mein Lieblings-Pokémon ist Cryo 4. Apartment skip. And don't have to worry about getting a shock in the water like you would if you stole a and don't have it gets unfair air. It's not as easy as it seems to. It's not as easy as. It's not as easy as it's. Bob the Builder. Bob the Builder. To make sure you don't get too cold of fear. Oh, bro. Developer 1 and FPF. Developer 1 and FPF. Usage of FPF. Usage of FPF. Digger. Many people can now enjoy whatever.
Watch out for the trees. Wait, is this a Cry Fear reference?